I hope you're enjoying my dad's videos. Make sure to share this video with family and friends, like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified for all my dad's new videos. My social media will be tagged down below so you can follow it. And just remember, Jesus loves you.
Hi guys, just one little factor here before we start this video here today. If for any reason my YouTube channel gets taken down, which could happen because we're challenging the deep state and we're challenging the powers behind the scenes. But if it does get taken down, I'm going to share the link below here. We have a website, drcharlieward.co.uk, and you can subscribe on there to our updates and our newsletters, etc., that are being produced by Lee Hemington. But you'll be able to keep in touch with what's going on. So at the moment, everything is nice and smooth. But if for any reason we get taken down, you simply go to my website, drcharlieward.co.uk, and register there, and you'll get all the information as to where we are or where you can view our videos.
Nice to meet you, Lee.
Nice to meet you as well, Nick.
Right, hi guys. Today we've got the privilege of having Lee Freeman, known as Pimpy from Pimpy's investment channel, and Nick Veniamin. You're better pronouncing it than me. It took me about 10 times to pronounce my wife's name when I met her.
Fine.
But anyway, we're all here together today to have a discussion, a roundtable discussion about what's happening in the world to do with our money and to do with everything that's happening right now. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
I'm enjoying watching your channel, Pimpy. You know, you've got some good information out there, and what it does is reconfirms the information that I have.
Yeah, I noticed that people were saying, have you heard about medbeds? And I said, you know, look, what Charlie's talking about actually exists. So calm down, people. And I said, look, I'm going to show you a version of it. Okay, so there are that type of technology out there. And as we talked about when it comes to NESARA, Gesara, people are so focused on the money part of it. I'm like, no, there's so much more. The Great Awakening and the rebellion of technology that we've not had before is, I think, the biggest part of it.
Couldn't agree more. You know, the med beds have been around for a long time, but have been held back by Bill Gates and the WHO, holding back because they weren't making any money out of it. And the minute we move them out of the way and start using them, we need them right now. But Trump is in a very difficult position where he hasn't got ultimate power just yet. He's going to have to wait until November the 3rd when he controls both houses. Because at the moment, the only way to do anything is with executive orders. He can't get anything through the House right now.
Yeah. I get a feeling that the Democrats are very, very worried when these 6,000 patents are released, and they keep threatening the UK that, oh, Donald Trump's going to sell the NHS, because it's only a matter of time until people realize that we don't need the NHS once we've got all these 6,000 patents, in my opinion.
Well, I think what you're going to see is a lot of these organizations that we have are redundant. Trump's already been weaving them out. I remember Democrats complaining that Trump hasn't even staffed a lot of his administration. He's like, I don't need those organizations. So he's saving the taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. But again, you know, it's funny to see what's taking place here, because really things look like they're in disarray, but they're not as bad as you think. We have now Democrats, mayors are now coming out and openly supporting Trump now. They don't like what's going on. They don't like the current Democratic Party's direction. Nancy Pelosi and those career politicians are more in this to save their own asses. They know they're in a heap of trouble. They sold us out to China. That's all starting to come out. They're still pushing Russia, Russia, Russia. No, there's no Russia anything. We know this. Now, again, it's all coming out. But like everybody said, I think it was, what's his name, Greg Papadopoulos, came out and said that, you know, we have a September and October surprise coming.
Oh, well, George Papadopoulos.
Yeah. George Papadopoulos. George Papadopoulos.
That's the one, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm hoping that one of them has to do with precious metals is the one I'm watching for. That's one news that I'm looking for.
He's a foreign advisor campaign in Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And I think he's writing a book now about the deep state, and now it's available on Amazon. And Donald Trump has endorsed him also, which he has pinned on his Twitter account.
Yeah, and so it's talk about time. And so I think people are like, well, why doesn't Trump do more? And I'm like, what do you mean do more? I mean, he's doing exactly what he should do, is let these guys get enough rope to where they're just hanging themselves. I mean, literally, this whole Black Lives Movement, it's a hoax. Let's be real. How can one organization, too, actually, Antifa and Black Lives Matter, have the same thing happening all around the world? You can't say that this is not planned. It's organized, it's well-funded, it's planned, and its purpose is to push us all into that great reset. You know what I mean? And which is, somebody said, no, Pimpy, in the writing, the paperwork says to reset capitalism. I said, that's just because if you spray perfume on a turd doesn't make it a flower. You see what I'm saying? Calling it a reset of capitalism doesn't mean that's what they're going for. You could go in there and hear exactly what they want to do. Wealth distribution. And, they keep using all the current events. Now, this is 50 years in the planning, but they're using all the current events to shape what's going on. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, the pandemic, environment. I'm like, oh, see, this is all the crap they've been pushing down our throats now for so long. People are wise now. I like what's going on in Germany with all the protests. I like what's going on in the UK with all the protests. I like what's going on here in the United States. Finally, Trump supporters are going into these towns where all these rioters and protecting what's right. And it's great to see.
Speaking of,
what's it like over there, by the way? You're in the UK, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in the UK.
Are you in the UK?
Yeah.
Which I seen a protest. What's the consensus there? What's the feeling there?
So we've got the feeling is a lot of people are sleeping. I mean, the people that I know, they're sleeping. They haven't woken up. A lot of people that I know, but I was very surprised to see thousands and tens of thousands of people in Trafalgar Square protesting about the masks, COVID-19, and it was just amazing that people are waking up, really. And you're speaking about the Black Lives Matter and all these, fixed, campaigns. Today I went on a website called Antifa.com, and when I clicked on Antifa.com, it came up with Biden and Calamar. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Disgusting, isn't it? Sick. Absolutely
sick. Joe Biden's slogan comes right from the paperwork of the Great Reset. Build back better. So, I don't know why would anybody be surprised. I don't think Joe Biden has ever had any original thought. He plagiarizes everything. So when I saw that, I go, look, if you people needed any other hint that their goal is to push us into this new world order, one world economy, and it's socialist, I don't know what more of a hint than you need than the policies that are being pushed by Joe Biden and his slogan all come from the Great Reset. It's not the same as NESARA, Gesara, and I have to constantly correct people on that. Totally different things. But I like the sign that they had in the Germany protest. They said, dear Mr. President, come make Germany better. I was like, oh, make Germany great again. I was like, nice. So he's loved everywhere.
I got a very interesting point with Antifa. Antifa has now been named by Donald Trump as a terrorist organization. That's public knowledge.
Yep.
So Black Lives Matter is also part of Antifa. So this is a very dangerous area because the sportsmen who are standing up for it could very easily be arrested for supporting terrorism.
Yeah, well, okay, so you hit it right on the head there, Charlie, and that is this. All of these people are all part of the same BS agenda, all of them. Look, part of them are in there to push this Great Reset agenda. The other part are scared because they know their asses are about to get arrested for all the pedophilia crap and all the crimes that they've done. So you have two groups of individuals working together to try to dethrone the one person that's standing in the way between world peace, in my opinion, and I'm not hyperbolic and I'm not exaggerating, and new world order. and they're doing everything. I've never seen in my entire life such a one-sided onslaught against any presidential candidate like I've seen the people rise up against Trump. And now people are wise to it here. They're not falling for it. Did you guys see that Trump boat parade? Any of you guys see that?
Trump what?
Have you seen the boat parade for Trump? They tried to set a record. Trump's,
Yes.
man, that was wonderful to see. There's certain things I've noticed within the last 6 months that really give me so much hope. Watching the Trump boat parade, that doesn't mean anything. But the point is, these people went out there. It was beautiful to see. But me, the biggest thing, the biggest show of patriotism is when we were told we could not fire off fireworks on the 4th of July. And California lit it up like I never seen in my life. The drone footage was unbelievable. That's people's way of saying, no, you're not telling me what to do, and you could go F off. And they lit up the sky with fireworks, and I mean big ones. And it went on for a long time. Man, I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, yes, these people are waking up. Stand up for your rights, gosh dang it.
The silent majority is silent no more. Definitely.
No, man, you got a 17-year-old kid with the AK going over protected property. They shot at him. The kid ran. He tripped. What did he do? He unloaded. Killed 2 of them. Shot the arm off of the 3rd. You know what the guy said in the hospital? The guy shot in the arm. He's the guy that had a gun against the kid's head. He said he told his friend he wanted to kill the kid. He went to go pull the gun to kill him. So the kid's self-defense. But it happened in a democratically controlled area. So like anything, you know, they're going to do what they can to try to use him and set an example. You know what I mean? Just like they did that couple that brought out guns to protect their property. They're going to try to turn him into an example. And then you have the opposite happen, where you have these Democratic mayors and governors who murdered the elderly by putting in sick patients with healthy. And they know nothing's going to happen to it because the state's attorney and all of them are Democrats. They're not going to do anything about it. So I was really happy to see that the Department of Justice is like, no, time out. You might not do anything about it, but we're going to. God willing, they prosecute these people and throw them in jail because they literally murdered people to try to inflate the numbers. And that's not being hyperbolic or exaggerating. That is the truth. That's how sick these people are.
Yeah.
It's very
So,
clear
you know,
in Democrat-run states, though, and this is something I was told very clearly. They said that Donald Trump is going to have to allow this to happen so that people wake up to see that the Democrat-run states are run by idiots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the truth. And we just saw this. We had 5 mayors, I think it was in Minnesota, came out for the first time and supported a Republican. They said, look, we're just going to tell you right now, we don't like or we don't support what's going on. So we're throwing our endorsement behind Trump. This is really bad for the Democrats. After the RNC, over 73,000 people switched political parties on their voter registration from Democrat to Republican. You know what I mean? That, you know, some states you have to vote for what you're registered for. That's the law here. So people are like, fine. They switched on over. You got the walkaway campaign. You have to leave the left. You have the Latins for Trump. You have the Latin exit, the black exit. You have the Jewish exit. The fact that these people can't see what's going on. Either they know and they're just lying to us, or they're that naive and they think they have that much support and they're believing the BS that their media buddies are pushing. Because the real thing is, no, the vast majority of Americans are so fed up of what we saw the past 4 years. We're just done with it. But Charlie, if you don't mind me saying, you brought up the point about Antifa being labeled as a terrorist. So what I try to make a point to people, and it could be connected to NESARA, Gesara, the whole 120 days and do a new government. So either way, whether Trump is following a NESARA, Gesara platform, or he just happens to be doing things that happens to be lined up with NESARA, Gesara. So one of the things he has to do is prove to America that there is an insurgency here. He said it several times. We have insurgents here. He even said in our government, we have politicians that are insurgent. And I go, he keeps using that word, which is really weird, because for him to call martial law, he has to prove that there's some kind of threat to the nation. And that's why he keeps using the words insurgents, domestic terrorists. It's funny because he never used the words, but then when the Democrats are like, wait a minute, you know, you got to call KKK domestic terrorists. He's like, you know what? I agree. So if we're going to start calling people domestic terrorists, well, then I'm going to label Antifa. he just reels them in. They're suckers every time. So he needed that. So they're insurgents. He's labeling them terrorists. So he has a right. If he thinks that governments are not the best steward for these countries anymore, and they're no longer serving the needs of the people, which he can easily do, he needs to call martial law. That suspends all the powers of our Congress, government, period, and the courts. That puts all the power and control into the supreme military leader, which of course is Donald Trump. From there, he has to lay out what's called the right of revolution. Jefferson said, you better lay out to the American people why, and give evidence why your government is no longer good stewards for you, and you need to remove them. Man, this guy has to have a list at least 10 miles long. Once he does that, then we remove them and we put in a whole new government altogether, which again lines up with what we talk about with NESARA, Gesara. And seeing him do it, you know what I mean? I'm watching him literally do this. So will that happen? Man, I've never seen any one president have more of a reason to abolish our Congress, get rid of them, and put a new one other than Trump right now. This guy has all the right reasons to do it. And I think he has all the evidence to pull that trigger.
Let's hope so. You know, Lee, Pimpy, I wanted to ask you, what is a ratio in respect to, you know, Americans, you know, being awake and asleep? Well, what is a ratio? Would you say it's 80-20?
Oh, I remember when Trump first got in office, in one of the groups I have, which is called The Hidden Things in Front of Your Eyes, it was an everyday battle. It was kind of like split in the group. As time went on and people started waking up, there's more pro-Trump people. Now we're to the point now where the same people are all in there. But, you know, they're not, they see that the Democrats are no good. They're not supporting the Democrats. They just don't like Trump's mannerisms. But now they see this. They don't fight that often anymore, trying to prove that Trump's the boogeyman. That's gone. So in America, that's the funny thing, because I mean, I live near Stockton, you know what I mean? It's predominantly a black neighborhood. And I seen Trump signs in Stockton, and I was like, what the hell? I was not expecting this. And in the other parts, even if they don't have Trump signs, I don't see any Biden signs. So if I'm being honest, and I live here in California, man, which is, you know, we live in liberal hell. It's been controlled by the Gettys, the Browns, the Pelosi's for 50 years. You know, that crime syndicate has been controlling us. They have no chance in hell here. If the election is not rigged right now, I think what we're seeing as far as who is and isn't awake, you know, you're probably somewhere about 70-30 awake, believe it or not. There are a lot of people here. I go into stores and I can hear people talking about it, which always makes me smile. I love to hear that. So I think a lot of people in the United States are really waking up. You know what I mean? Like you said, they are the silent majority. And that silent majority continues to grow as a majority. And that's because of the awakening.
So would you say it's about 80-20? I mean, I'm hoping around 90, maybe 10, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I'm just being conservative, but the truth of the matter is, even my own family, we worked for the Democratic Party for years. I mean, I got cousins or delegates, you know what I mean? They went out, they retired because they just didn't like what was going on. I mean, I used to be a strategist for them. I walked away from them a long, long time ago, but you know, most of the people that I know that are Democrats are just doing this. They're so fed up with the Democrats. That doesn't mean they're supporting Trump. They're just tired of the Democrats. And the big push, especially once again, now in 2016, they voted. Well, first of all, they booed God. And that pissed my cousin off because she's a hardcore Christian. And I just looked at her and you see what's happening. Then they voted to remove prayer, which really, she walked out then. And then this time around, they purposely left out in, you know, one nation under God in the pledge. And I hit her up real quick. She said, shut up. I saw it. And, you know, to her, that's big because I told her cousin, stop stressing. That is not our Democratic Party anymore. I can't support these demon rats. They're evil people, man. They're trying to remove God. They're trying to turn our country over into this new world order. You know what I mean? The more you look into the Great Reset and you see these chips you have to have social scoring. Oh, I never, ever would want a government that control of anybody's life, man. It's not good at all. Absolutely. You know, moving on with the you know, the quantum financial system. I've noticed as well that Charlie has got a Q. He's changed his Q now to a gold Q because of the QFS, isn't that, Charlie?
Where does the gold? The quantum system is gold back. That's why I changed it.
Yeah. So I want to ask you. Tomorrow is the 1st of September. 1st of September, Tuesday. When we wake up, and what are people expected to wake up to? Are we going to experience any changes into our lives, or how we transaction money over to people, anything like that?
No. You'll wake up tomorrow like I do, and you will notice no difference at all. One thing I have noticed, that a number of banks have notified their clients that they're closed until some are closed until the 3rd, some are closed until the 7th, and they're making lovely excuses for system upgrades or whatever. And only those, one bank said, only those with private bankers will be able to access whatever. So for people like you and I and Pimpy who know what's going on, we know exactly what's happening. It's the transition. And you have to understand that the transition would normally be very easy. When you're taking the power away from an evil group of people, they'll do everything they can to stop that happening. And they've been desperate beforehand. And somebody sent me an advert that was, I think it was recently placed, that were looking for people to attack the new system and to try and prevent it happening. They were looking for computer hackers, and they were offering $18 to $25 an hour for hackers. Yeah, I know hackers.
Yeah, I saw that here in the United States too, Charlie. They did. I wasn't sure what that was about, but we've seen that. And that's another thing I was going to ask you, Charlie, because over here, for some strange reason, a lot of our banks were shut down. And then I seen somebody send me an article that in the UK, the Bank of England was shut down, which is only the 2nd time in its entire history. And I'm like, something's going on. Something's definitely going on. You can see there's movements. There's currency movements. I can tell you this. Currency swaps happen at a large level without being specific about which currencies they are. The BIS seems to be behind a lot of this. I see a lot of banks closing down. It's just a lot of different areas that definitely have my attention. That I'm going, something is happening. There's definitely something happening.
And here in the UK, we've got, I mean, I've heard there's issues they've reported, NatWest, Santander, HSBC, Barclays, they've all reported that they're having problems and issues and delays and obstacles. And we've got Bank of England, the central bank, which is, temporarily closed. And it's all in the excuse of COVID.
Well, the virus gets from you, and then you spit it on your computer, and then your computer gets sick. They want to make sure that it's got its vaccine. Of course, I'm just being silly. No, here's what you got to ask yourself. Why are you just now having problems? You didn't have problems prior to COVID. And why would you have problems now with the Rona out there, considering nobody's been at the bank? So why all of a sudden are you magically having problems? I think what it is there was a bigger plan to push us in one direction. And that plan got interrupted. And they're like, crap, we need to fix something. We were planning on this happening, but around the world, you just seen that the CDC revamped their numbers, and they're saying 6% of all the reported coronavirus deaths are actually related to coronavirus. They did it quietly behind the scenes. So 6% of all the deaths that's been recorded as coronavirus deaths, only 6% of them are legitimately connected or haven't been because of the coronavirus. So, what's it tell you about this whole plan? The CDC, China, the banks, these politicians, this shutdown of this worldwide event, Black Lives Matter, Antifa. This is not a coincidence. All these were part of a much bigger agenda.
Maybe Charlie and Pimpy were right from the start.
There you go.
Definitely.
We were.
Well, I've been saying it for 4 months.
What will happen now? I was out with Lee Hemmington, Charlie, the other day, and we went out, and a lot of people now at restaurants and bars are not accepting cash. It's all card payments. So and do you know what came to my head? I was thinking, what's going to happen of Elizabeth's head on the paper currency in the UK? What's going to happen with that? Because there's also been news that now she doesn't have the authority. She's stepped away and she's not coming back. What's the situation with these pictures of her face on the UK currencies?
Maybe they'll replace it with either Pimpy's or mine. I don't know.
So here, you know what's interesting? As a numismatic collector, I collect coins, you know, not just precious metals. But I couldn't help but wonder, a lot of the coins that I love to collect have the Queen's head on. And I mean from different countries everywhere. There's very few that do not have her head on it. So when you hear these people talk about, well, you know, the royal family, they really control everything. And I go, you know, it doesn't seem so far-fetched. The Queen's mug is on everything. Coins everywhere around the world have her face on it. Why? You have to ask yourself why. Yeah. But, you know, you're in the UK, and I saw videos that looked like a pretty good-sized mob of people outside the palace calling them pedophiles. How many people were there? That's got to be the first time I've ever seen people turn on the royal family.
Yeah. There was a lot of people there. A lot of people there. It was amazing to see that. And the mainstream media are completely quiet about it. And I also saw another video a month ago where there was lots and lots and lots of people gathering together and saying and chanting for Trump for 2020. And that was amazing to see that in the UK. It actually made me really, really emotional.
Yeah, look, it's not just there, but Germany, Australia, New Zealand. I'll see these videos of people rebelling against being locked down. The people, you can't keep doing this. You will have a worldwide uprising and an overthrow of governments everywhere. These people are corrupt. They're evil. People are aware of it. You know what I mean? They're just tired of it. They're tired of being enslaved. They're tired of being lied to. You know what I mean? In some countries, they hang their corrupt politicians. They hang their corrupt bankers. I keep telling people here in America, we need to probably pay attention to that more and think about implementing here. I know that sounds barbaric, but you know what? If you see some people being publicly executed for the crimes against our country, it'll deter any future thoughts about doing it again. People are like, wow, did you see what they did to Nancy Pelosi? She's hanging from a branch. You know what I mean? The whole purpose of doing that, these people have committed treason. They've committed acts against humanity, vicious acts against children. They don't deserve to be put in jail. They should literally be publicly executed, and it should be broadcast on every channel around the world so that people will look at it and go, yeah, I don't want to go down that road. And they'll think twice.
Exactly. Exactly. I 100% agree with that.
I'd like to see Revenue and Customs do the same.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can, I think, especially since Trump's been in office more than ever before, we see the evil. The veil has been lifted. We see how there is a real crime syndicate between bankers, the media, our politicians, and all these outside organizations, the WHO, the CDC, just how corrupt these people are and how embedded they are with one another. The Security Council, my ass, these people are all corrupt. The anti-corruption organization over in the Ukraine, that's just all BS. All those people are organizations that are put there to cover each other's asses and try to hide the evidence. Look, over here in Christopher Wray, still hiding evidence and protecting the corrupt FBI agents that attempted a coup against our president. Those people shouldn't go to jail. If you attempt a coup against our president, those people need to be publicly executed. I know that sounds bad, but these people were the most trusted people on the highest level of police enforcement. These people should pay.
Absolutely. Well, guys, what I want you to both tell me what's going to happen with Brexit, because I'm hearing news that Brexit has been successful, it's been completed, or it's been cancelled, and we're not going to get a deal. And then I'm hearing about Europe being completely dismantled once we move into the NESARA, Gesara. What is going on with that?
Well, Brexit is definitely happening, 100%. But it's the same as what taking down the deep state right now. They're kicking off like crazy. They're in a death roll. It was a critical part of where we are now to get the UK out of the EU before they started the global financial collapse. That was a critical part. But you have to understand that you've got all these bureaucrats in Brussels that are all going to lose their jobs, fighting like dogs putting out false media, putting out absolute lies. And of course, Germany's always wanted control of the world. It lost the First World War, lost the Second World War, and it's lost the Third World War, which was the Euro.
Yep.
So the Germans, the real German people who are great, there's nothing wrong with German people. It's the German politicians.
Yep.
The German people as people are wonderful people. The politicians are absolutely useless. And we're seeing that even so now. And this will be the first of the countries to collapse. And I was watching with the mainstream media actually published there was around 30 people protesting in Berlin. The actual number was close to 4 million.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say 130, man. I seen the videos. It was huge. It was breathtaking. Again, like you were saying, Nick, you know, you saw something that made you emotional. When I see this happening around the world, I see my brothers and sisters everywhere going, enough is enough. Man, my heart just melts. I couldn't be more happier. And I pray to God, look, there's a lot of people. I told people the story like 2 years ago. I was talking to my friends. We were first starting to talk about the QAnon thing. But I'm talking to I have, you know, people that I chat with online from overseas. You know, they were in Australia, they were in Germany and stuff like that. And they were like, you know, supporting Trump. And I was like, it's weird to hear you guys support Trump. And I go, well, why would you guys be interested in Trump? They go, well, as soon as he saves America, then he'll come save us. And I was like, wait, what? What the hell are you talking about? And my friend said, you don't get it, Lee. He goes, if Trump does what he can and he saves America from those evil people, that directly affects the rest of the countries around the world. The United States is so powerful that if the evil people grab a hold of that country, there's no stopping them at all. So if Trump saves America, in turn, he saves the world.
A lot of people say to me, actually, oh, America's done this and America's done that. You know, Trump has done this, for an example, capital gains, you know, and income tax, he's abolished income tax, and he will extend it if he's re-elected. And people say to me, you know, is it going to happen worldwide? And I say to them, yeah, because he's bringing down the globalists, and the globalists are the ones who are in charge of everything, you know. And
he came out with a lovely line. I saw a lovely tweet from his team today. First of all, MAGA, and then MEGA. Make Europe great again.
Oh, wow. So we
got I love that. I love that. No, I mean, again, so people talk about this. So for us who invest in different investments, you know, one of the biggest boosts for us is Trump removing the capital gains tax. That's great. Then if you live in a state with no state tax, then that's even better. You know what I mean? So, of course, I live in liberal hell. What they'll do is find a way to take the money anyways. We got to get rid of these guys here. But, you know, that's what I'm doing. If people don't understand that Trump is trying to show us we don't need the Federal Reserve. We don't need the IRS. You know what I mean? You don't need these types of taxes. We did great. 100 years ago, we didn't have all this crap. You know what I mean? We did it before. We could do it again. We got pushed in this system that we're in. Now I'm going to push us out of it. So, again, people are like, well, what about these entitlement programs? Yeah, you got to understand that we actually had a ton of money put into a pool of money into this fund that by law was not supposed to be touchable. And then Bush tapped into it, which was illegal, and then Obama raided it. And now they're going, oh, look, Medicare is going to go bankrupt. That's because you touched it when by law you weren't supposed to. So you took money from people that had legally and rightfully put in there that didn't belong to you to do what? To cover all their bailouts and stuff like that is what they did. And so, you know, there has to be repercussions for these actions. A lot of these things were done without the knowledge of the people, without the permission of the people. And they always tell you, what's for your own good? No, how's that for my own good if you just bankrupt Medicare? And now they're trying to say, oh, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. No, He has to have a plan. He knows what I find it hard to believe that Trump would ever do any action that would adversely affect any group of people unless he already had a plan to help them out before he did it.
You know, you saying that about, you know, the funds and everything that they've stolen through the Federal Reserve, you know, the fiat currency, which is not many people know, which is backed up by debt and interest, not gold, since 1971. According to the documentary, The Change is on the Horizon, which was an amazing 3-hour documentary, which is all about finance, explains that these corrupt people have stolen I think it's got 45 zeros. That's how many trillions and quadrillions. 45. I don't know how you say it.
Quadrillions.
I think it's quadrillion. I think.
Some weird name, quadrillion, drillion.
Yeah.
I always go like this. I always do that. Dr. Evil, quadrillion, trillion, bazillion. You know, because it's so astronomical, it's hard to pronounce. It's just weird. But yeah. Well, here's my thing. Who do we owe the debt to?
Nobody.
Over here in the United States. Who do we owe the debt to? The Federal Reserve? So what is the Federal Reserve? Yeah, so what happened? So I tell people, you know what the Federal Reserve is like? Taking money out of your right pocket, putting it in your left pocket, and charging yourself interest. We don't owe them anything. All right? Exactly. The law, the Federal Reserve Act was passed is unconstitutional. These people, it's a privately owned bank. They could just go take an effing leap, if you get my drift. So I can understand when people go, well, you can't just get rid of debt. Somebody has to pay the bill. The hell we don't. You just do it. That's what you do. Now, I understand there's a way you have to do it, because if you just come out and just wipe it across the board, that can have a real adverse effect on the economy unless you have a backup plan. Again, I find it's hard to believe that Trump would do anything without already knowing that this might affect this group or that group, and not have a plan to protect them already before he does it.
Well, there's some standard point there that I knew from inside information, that when the Dragon family from China monetized their Dragon bonds in Switzerland, the value of them was quadrillions. They actually only monetized 100 trillion. But with that 100 trillion, they cleared the debt of America, they cleared the debt of China, they cleared the debt of India, and they cleared the debt of Russia, the national debt. And that money was paid to the Federal Reserve so that Trump's hands were clean. The moment it arrived in the Federal Reserve, there was a subpoena issued against them for fraud. So that money then becomes under the control of the judiciary in America. And that money has been paid back to the Federal Reserve, to the Rockefellers, the Rothschild business, but is now under investigation. So that money, we all know, is corrupt money. But that will become the possession of the state, obviously during the process of trial against the old Federal Reserve. But it's been done in a very clever way that the debts have been cleared so that he can say we've cleared the debt. The Chinese, the Dragon family, the original Himalayan descent, have provided the golden bonds and the dragon bonds to clear those debts. They've done like the bridging loan in between to get everything done, so that everybody involved's hands are clean. There is no dirty, shifty hand. The money has been paid back in full, and once the money was paid back to the Federal Reserve, there was a subpoena issued against it for fraud.
The way I understand it is, go on, Pimpy.
No, I was going to say, I don't know if you guys know the story of Lee Watna, W-A-N-T-A. He was the guy that got money from Reagan. You guys got to look up his story, Ambassador Watna. He was given money by Reagan and basically did something similar to what George Soros did to England. You know what I mean? He found a clever way to make money off of currencies, and he turned it into trillions of dollars. He had that money, and Reagan made a promise, look, you got to pay off our national debt when the time comes. You got to pay off the debt of China, Russia. You know what I mean? He had this list of people. He goes, you keep 15% or something like that for yourself, but the rest of the money is to go to take care of all our national debt and all of our trade debt. And that money, he has it. When Trump first got in office, he made Lee go into court and get a judge to admit that the money belonged to Lee. And so now Lee has it. Now, what's going to happen with that money, I don't know. I haven't heard the continuation of that story at all. Now, I was told that I was given contact information of a person that I was told is close to Lee. The person's aware that, I might be reaching out to them, but I'm curious about where that story is and how much truth is behind it. You know what I mean? Because it's similar to what Charlie's talking about. If this is the case, think about this. If this is the case, if Lee Watna's story, Ambassador Lee Watna's story is accurate, and the Chinese bond story is accurate, we have no debt. There is no debt. There's no reason for us to be enslaved.
Exactly.
You would be looking at the largest Renaissance boom ever seen in human history. The freedom to go out and do what you want to do without stressing over finances, the things that people always wanted to do but couldn't because they're too busy having to go to work a 9 to 5. Oh my God, I can only imagine what the future is going to look like.
And looking after other people, looking after mankind, looking after the planet that we live on.
Yes.
Looking after what we've got already.
Yeah.
You know what makes me sick? You're going to love this. So there are people out there who have invented technology that could really clean up like our oceans and stuff like that, but they won't help fund them. But they want to turn around and go, oh, you know, climate hoax, we need money, climate hoax. And we're like, why? This wouldn't be a problem. Why don't you release the technology that you guys been preventing from happening, and there won't be dirty water. There won't be dirty air. This guy was talking about making a building size like air filter that, you know, when it goes all day long and the air goes in there and cleans all the particles out of the thing. And then there's this water that comes down and cleans off the filters. It's all automated, but it would make the air like 98% cleaner in cities. You know, I'm like, well, why isn't this out there? What about the water purifiers, the big ones, the size of buildings? Why aren't they being used? If these people really truly gave a crap about the environment, then why are they hiding this damn technology from the world?
Exactly right. There's all this stuff out there, and it's all been hidden away because the people at the top are not making money off it. And there's a lot of young people that have created inventions that are invaluable to us all, and their whole life has been destroyed where it should have been absolutely made, because they've created brilliant inventions, but because they haven't partnered up with Bill Gates and their corrupt regime, they haven't made it past the WHO. They've been blocked by the WHO as being non-functional. And we're now finding out that a lot of this stuff would save millions and millions of lives. The med beds, as an example, you know, they can resolve so many things, virtually everything. The only thing a med bed can't do is it can't create common sense.
Well, we need one of those beds. What I need is for people to start clicking on that little switch in their head that says how to do critical thinking, because we seem to be lacking that a whole lot over here. I'm like, come on, people, common sense and critical thinking. You know, this is what happens when you allow the Democrats to take control of your educational system and they invent common core education. You just dumb down the masses and then you tell them how to think. And by golly, man, they've done a great job, because we got a lot of damn idiots over here, that's for sure.
We got those over here.
Yeah, as soon as they want to, as soon as you teach them how to think freely, independently, it's very hard work for them. Everything's done for them. They're lazy. They get a headache. They can't do it.
No, that's it. But see, these clickbaits, or these go on there, they click, and they'll read like the headline, and that's about it. They won't read the rest of the story. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to go read a story where the headline said one thing, and then you get to the bottom of the article, it'll make its own correction. I'm like, people are posting this. I'm laughing. I go, no, you got to get past the headline. See, the headline looks like it's telling you one thing, but as soon as you get into it, you know, they'll say something like, you know, we have not been able to substantially prove that, or something like that. I'm like, but they know people aren't going to read the whole article. They know this.
Yeah.
So it's the headlines that they want.
Yeah, it is. But we're coming through a very difficult period, and we're coming into a far better time. And when we get through this shit, for the want of a better word, that we're going through right now, and look, I think the three of us know that there's going to be a lot of shit between now and the 3rd of November. I think September, October will be difficult months. There'll be some little nuggets of gold and diamond on the way, but there'll be a lot of difficult times as we transit from the old system to the new system. And while we get rid of, look, we're having to get rid of a number of corrupt people in government, in power.
Yep.
They'll all be removed in the next couple of months. And but when we get through the other end, it's going to be an amazing time. And I liken it to a woman giving birth to a baby. The minute you've given birth, the pain disappears. And at the moment, we're in a period of contraction. which is quite painful.
Yeah,
That's a good example, I tell you that.
it's
Thank
going to be
you very
wonderful.
much, for Lee and Nicholas for joining with us on this round table. It's been very, very informative,
Thank you.
and we'll try and keep getting the information out to you guys, sharing information with everybody that we can find that's got good information and good intel. I recommend that you follow Pimpy on Pimpy's investment channel on YouTube, because there's a lot of very constructive information on there to do with NESARA, Gesara, the Vietnamese dong, the Iraqi dinar, the Zimbabwean notes, anything to do with currency investments, gold. Pimpy's your man. He knows what's going on. He's got years of experience. So definitely worth going onto his website. And Nicholas, I don't know if you've yet got one up there.
Yeah, I've actually done what you did. Actually, I've got my YouTube channel up and running now. I'm going to start focusing more on the financial stuff and corruption and politics. I do have a legal background, so I want to have more of a legal approach when it comes to politics. I love politics. The other thing was, just before we go, was a lot of people having a lot of difficulty finding dinar currency, Vietnam and other currencies, and I just wanted to give the people opportunity to buy some. There is a website that I purchased from, and you can still buy some from the ukdinarfx.com, if that helps.
Okay, well, if you send me the link, I'll put it below here so that people can go on to there, because it's something I get asked very, very regularly.
Hey, Carly, if it's all right, if I can send you the money as well for your followers that are over here in the United States, and if you guys do affiliate with somebody, please send me the information so I can let them know for the people from the Spain or UK as well on your behalf.
Perfect. Well, if you send me the link, Pimpy, on WhatsApp, I'll put it on underneath there to make sure you get everything from it. But thank you very much.
I appreciate
Thank
that.
you, Charlie. Pimpy, was lovely.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate being on.
It was lovely.
Yeah,
Take
you
care.
as well. Nick, I enjoyed a great conversation.
Hi, it's Justin, and I hope you're enjoying my dad's videos. Make sure to share this video with your family and friends, like and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified for all my dad's new videos. My social media will be tagged down below so you can follow it, and just remember, Jesus loves you.